Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. We blitzed to Birmingham, UK for the first time, teaching our people repentance.
Sometimes people think the only role models or peer models are in the community centres, or they think that they're just in the schools, but there are other movements as well, again Israel United in Christ as well.
Who's the king? Christ! Who's the king? Christ!
Unity is strength, that's what I think anyway.
You say that you're Jamaican.
Yeah.
Was you born in Jamaica or born here?
Born here.
You're born here, alright. Now, a lot of our people were born here, so class us as like, what do you call it? Second generation.
generational.
Alright, now look at this. Jamaica, first of all, let me understand where you're at. Do you even know what the word Jamaica means or where it comes from? Where does the term Jamaica comes from?
I know it's originally like Jamaica or something like that, and then we switched it.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's actually a Portuguese word,
Which
which means land of wood and water. You know that expression? Land of wood and water. So how can a people be a land of wood and water? Because the Portuguese gave us that name. You understand? Now collectively, it doesn't matter whether you're from Jamaica, Trinidad, Montserrat, St. Vincent, collectively they call those islands the West Indies. So all of our people in the West Indies, right? I want you to look at this, and I'm going to show you where we are from in the Bible. Collectively, they say West Indies. But from the Bible, when you read Deuteronomy, there's pointers down there. It shows these people predominantly come from the tribe of Benjamin, the youngest son of Joseph.
Yeah.
You understand? Jacob, sorry. Now, when it comes to us and these optics that we have here, the reason we have these is to show our people graphically that the transatlantic slave trade is documented in the Bible. Now, I want you to think logically, Renee. If your forefathers and your foremothers who were taken as slavery on the transatlantic slave trade, they came off the slave ships, they were sold. Let me show you. Right here. You see these auction slave blocks? We were sold to the Jeffersons, Pattersons, whatever the slave master's surname was, we took on those names. It was even branded with brand irons, you understand? Now, whatever plantation they went on, the slave master and his subjects, his slaves, they would have his name. Now, think about this. If the slave ships, which came from the west coast of Africa, docked in South America, Central, North America, wherever, or the islands, right, around about Cuba, Haiti, and the West Indies. If the slave ship decided to dock in Trinidad, the slaves that came off, years later, they class themselves as Trinidadians. But if the slave ship went to Jamaica, they say, oh, we're Jamaican. Well, think about it. What were they before they came off the slave ships? Okay, so let's start there. So from the west coast of Africa, so showing us that just because we're Jamaican, so-called, or Trinidadian, we're the same people. Just because they docked in Jamaica, generations later they classify themselves as Jamaican, we're no different from the Montserratians, the Haitians, so on and so forth. You understand that? Now, let's get some Bible. You believe in God?
Yes.
Excellent. Now, we're reading the 5th book of the Bible, which is Deuteronomy. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. All 5 of those books was written by Moses. Do you understand, or do you recognize the story of Moses and the Red Sea opening up? Have you heard that story? So what can you tell me right now about that story?
Basically what you said, so Moses as a baby was on the river Nile.
Right.
Then Pharaoh notified him, took him on into their own. Then later on, the Israelites needed to be freed.
Free from who?
From Pharaoh.
From Pharaoh, the Egyptians, yes.
Yeah. So then God uses Moses to free the Israelites. Pharaoh's stubborn, he doesn't want to say yes.
Right.
And after different signs, different things happening, like the
Plagues,
locusts and all of those things.
10 plagues.
He allows the Israelites to know. Then
Right.
kind of goes back into it and goes after them. So then it's kind of like a kind of faith with Moses that he has to trust in God,
Right.
trust that he's going to allow these things to happen.
So God opens up the Red Sea and the children of Israel go through. What happens to the Egyptians that tried to go through the Red Sea? They died. God closed up the Red Sea. Excellent, excellent. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. I'm glad you understand that story, biblical story of how the Israelites escaped captivity, slavery under Pharaoh, and what God did to the Egyptians. Now in Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1, it picks up from where you just left off. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So all Israel, meaning all 12 tribes, Renee, right? Read.
On this side of Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain, over against the Red Sea.
Over against the what?
The Red Sea.
So Renee, over against the Red Sea. So after they passed through safely, got close to the Red Sea, this is the children of Israel on the other side of the Red Sea. This is Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. So Moses is speaking to, not the Egyptians because they've been destroyed, he's not speaking to any other nation, he's speaking to the children of Israel. Now, go to 28 and verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Now, before we read, Renee, mode of transport, when the children of Israel went through the Red Sea, how did they get through the Red Sea? How did they walked, right? They didn't get like motorbikes or a train, they just walked through the Red Sea. They walked on foot. I want you to pay attention to that. They walked on foot when they left Egypt to go through the Red Sea onto the other side.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So the children of Israel, God's telling Moses to tell the children of Israel, they've just come to the Red Sea. If you listen to my commandments, I'm going to set you up, all 12 tribes, above. Didn't say equal to, it says above all nations of the earth. That's the stipulation is they have to what? Listen and do the commandments. You with me so far, Renee? Now, if they don't listen and do the commandments, what do you think is going to happen to them?
They're going to go to the bottom, you're going to get the top.
Let's find out. 15, verse 15.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake
So
thee.
the children of Israel they've got a situation now. They need to listen to the commandments and do them and be blessed and be above all nations, or they don't listen and all curses are going to happen to them. Let's see some of the curses that will happen to the children of Israel for what? Not listening. Verse 32. Now we're going to start bringing it home about Jamaica, Trinidad, so on and so forth. Verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So Moses is saying to the children of Israel, if you don't listen, one of the curses is your sons and your daughters will be given unto another people. Remember, they're supposed to be above all people. But if they don't listen, your sons and your daughters are going to be given unto another people. On the face of the planet Earth, Renee, which people had their sons and daughters taken from them and given unto another people? Yes, that's us. You understand? So Moses speaks to the children of Israel. So now he's speaking to Judah, Benjamin, Levi, so on and so forth. But today we don't recognize that we are Judah, Benjamin, Levi, because the same people that we are given unto, our sons and daughters, they now call you American blacks, West Indies, so on and so forth. That's the disconnect, that we don't know who we are. Now let's cross-check some other curses, just to prove that we are the people of the book. Verse 48. And when he's reading this curse, you tell me whether anybody on the face of the planet went through this curse, or whether this happened to us. Read verse 48.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies,
Not friends, you're going to serve your enemies, Israelites. Read.
which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
So let's stop there. Hunger, thirst, and nakedness. I noticed that you're probably off duty now. You just come from Aldi, you work in Aldi. So who owns Aldi? Is that a German company? Yeah. So the children of Israel, our people, we have to always go to the other nations. Read that again.
Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger
Do they sell food in there? Read.
and in thirst
Do they sell drinks in there? Read.
and in nakedness.
Do they sell clothes in there?
In some of them, yeah, not this one, but in
All right,
the
so
others, yeah.
the basic commodities, food, drink, clothing, you have to go to the enemies to get it, not your own people. Now watch this, read.
And in want of all things.
So anything the children of Israel wants, you have to go to your enemies to get them. Now watch this.
And he
He, meaning the enemies, read.
shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So which people, Renee, had yokes of iron? Yes, but Moses is speaking to the children of Israel. And the reason we don't know that we're the children of Israel, why? Because the same colonizers have changed our names. Give me verse 37. Here's another curse.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
So the children of Israel become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword. A proverb is like a wise saying. One of the wise sayings is, we tend to read the book. If you want to hide something from a black man, what do they say? Put it in a book. So that's a proverb, because they know that our people don't generally read. But we open the book now and we can understand, we can read now. Is that it? Verse 37?
And a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So a byword is be called out of your God-given names. God calls us the sons of God, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, but they don't call us that. A byword would be, you know what, you're just West Indian, you're Jamaican. That's a byword. That's not what God called you.
That's right.
Because Renee, when you open up the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, where do you find Jamaica in there? It's not in there. Because the colonizers changed our names. They don't want us to know. So what we're showing you now is that we are the people of the book. Now let me give you one more concern. Give me 68 concerning the mode of transport. Now going back to that question I asked you earlier, the children of Israel walked out on foot when they left Egypt to go from Egypt to go to the promised land. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Stop. So the Lord is saying to the children of Israel as a curse, if you don't listen, I'm going to bring you back into Egypt again. Remember what they were doing under Pharaoh, serving hard bondage. And they was crying out for deliver Moses, let my people go. So God's saying, if you don't listen, children of Israel, I am going to bring you back into Egypt. When is he talking literally Egypt, or does Egypt have a connotation? Excellent, Renee, excellent. Exodus 2.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2.
I like, Renee, you're on point, you're on point.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Out of Egypt,
out of the house of bondage.
out of the house of bondage. Bondage, when you're in bondage, that means you're in captivity, slavery. So God said, if you don't listen, children of Israel, all 12 tribes, I'm going to bring you back into Egypt or bondage. You understand? Now you have to understand that precept. Let's go back and apply it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
How's he going to do it?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. He's going to bring the children of Israel back into captivity, bondage again, with ships. Great big cargo ships.
That's right.
Which people on the planet, Renee, went into slavery on ships? Exactly, it didn't happen to the Russians, the French, the Pakistani, the Arabs.
Right.
It happened to us.
Right.
Moses is speaking to the children of Israel.
Right.
We say, oh, Jamaica, no, you're Israelites. That's right. That's how we know we are the children of the book. Read.
Egypt again with ships.
Uh-huh.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So where we was in the promised land, you're not going to see that no more, because you're going to cause the enemies to come and take you out of that land. Now when we got onto those slave ships, like I said, they went somewhere to Central America, South, North, and also all over. Read.
And there
What?
Ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So remember, Renee, your friends don't put you in shackles and yokes of iron. Friends don't do that to you. That's your enemy. Now, when you come off those ships, read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen.
So what do you think bondman means? Bondman. Bondage, man, slave man. Read.
And bondwomen.
So the women got it too. They went on to slave ships too. So read that part again, bondman and bondwoman.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
$200 to the pastors. So we're showing you, what are we showing you? Biblical prophecy come to fruition.
That's
that
right.
we are the people of the book.
What is a nation?
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And